Oh, man. Now, this is a big one today. Folks are in here standing on their heads and swinging from the rafters as we welcome back to the Summit FM Studio C our friends Carbon Leaf. How's it going, guys?
Thank you, Brad. How you doing? Great to be back.
Well, our Studio C sessions here on the Summit FM, these are the top perks for all of our members who support this local independent public radio station. You start getting the invites to attend Studio C, and it's sponsored by Wayside Furniture and Blind and Sons, and representing RVA, Richmond, Virginia, Carbon Leaf. Welcome, guys. Let's introduce the band first off here.
I'm Barry. I sing vocals.
Hi, I'm Terry. I play acoustic guitar and sing backup vocals.
Jesse, I play drums.
I would prefer if someone else would introduce me.
To my left is John Markle. He plays bass. Sorry, I forgot that was in his contract.
That's right.
The illustrious
Carter,
John
and I
Markle.
play guitar.
Welcome back. So, the Summit historians and analysts, otherwise known as Chad Miller, has informed me that the last time you were here was September 30th, 2017 for Studio C at the old building. So, how about this? We're moving up in the world around here at Ellet now.
New school.
This
The
place
new
is
school.
awesome. Place is awesome. We totally thought we were going to the other place, though. We were in our minds. We pulled up. Barry's
Yeah.
like, it says that we're here, but I don't think
We almost
we're
went
here.
went into the other old stone building, St. Mary's, is it right? The church across the street? Or
Yeah. We've had certain bands that we've had, a long affiliation with actually show up at the wrong place, and then we have to give them the directions to get over here and everything. But you guys, we've been playing Carbon Leaf for a number of years on the station since, late 90s, early 2000s, and welcome back for the Kent stage tonight.
Yes.
Back in our area. Anybody going to that show tonight? Yes. Make some noise. Very good. Well, let's jump in and do a song first. As Carbon Leaf returns to Studio C, what do you want to play first for us here
Well, you
today?
told us someone had a request for a song that wasn't on the program, but we're going to bump a song for it. So this is What About Everything off of Indian Summer.
Holiday quiet on these streets, except for some stubborn leaves that didn't fall with the fall. Now they clatter in vain. Holiday sky, midnight clear. Wind is high, hard to steer. Old muffler rumbles like an old fighter plane. In search of some rest, in search of a break from a life of tests, where something's always at stake, where something's always so far. What about my broken car? What about my life so far? What about my dream? What about everything? What about aeroplanes? And what about ships that drank the sea? What about the moon and stars? What about soldier battle scars and all the anger that they I am not in need. Get away and come with me. Come away with me and we'll see if I was right on that night, that a future was made before time takes each year. Like a knife cuts it clear. It's school and work and in life that just sharpens the blade. I think about time for fun, I think about time to play. Then I think about being done with no resume, with no one left to blame. What about fortune and fame? What about your love to obtain? What about the ring? What about everything? What about aeroplanes? And what about ships that drank the sea? What about the moon and stars? What about soldier battle scars and all the anger that they well, I am not in need. Holiday quiet on these streets, except for some reason me. The hometown harbor lights bright, the sailboats clatter in vain. Holiday sky, midnight clear, wind is high on this pier. I find it hard to complain when compared with what about everything? What about aeroplanes and what about ships that drank the sea? What about the moon and stars? What about soldier battle scars and all the anger that made? What about aliens? What about you and me? And what about gold beneath the sea? Oh, what about when buildings fall? What about that midnight phone call? The one that wakes you from your peace. I am not, I am not, I am not in need.
Well. Welcome back with Carbon Leaf live in Studio C. We've got a packed room of Summit members here. And What About Everything, a song we've played quite a lot through the years on this radio station. And so, guys, as we go into 2025, you've been doing this a while, but it's really on your terms and the full independent control of the music and getting out and touring. And you're still playing a good amount of shows, but it seems like, you're not out for 90 days at a time as much anymore, right?
Yeah, we have to break it up now because back in the day, everyone was single and didn't have a mortgage and didn't have kids and didn't have soccer practice and didn't need to let the dog out. So we have to tour a little more strategically and not be gone for so long in one stretch and break it up and come home and.
But there's a lot of kind of freedom in that, kind of setting the calendar by your standards and not the album cycle standard,
Yeah, for sure. There were days where we would be out, on album cycles when we were, with a few releases on the record label where we would just be out on a schedule that they were like, well, come to LA and, play this show, but then hang out for 3 days because we want to do this other thing over here. It was we're gone a long time.
Yeah.
So we've compressed everything, which means more driving through the night. Getting in and squeezing in a radio thing before the night show. So
right. Well, because last night was Buffalo, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Kent stage tonight, and then off to Cincinnati. But you all still live in Richmond, Virginia area, is that right?
Most of us do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of home base. Jesse lives in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Okay.
And but the rest of us are kind of Virginia based.
What are the big changes you've seen, in Richmond and especially in like music and bands and stuff, the art type stuff out of Richmond since the early days for Carbon Leaf?
Yeah, I think when we were starting, there was a lot. Of course, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot now still. I think there is, but it's just not on our radar as much as when we were kind of in it with our peers, playing all the holes in the walls around Richmond.
Yep.
I don't know. Do you have any idea?
Well, I was going to say that it's weird because we sort of exist in a little bubble at this point because we've been together for 30 years. When we started, like Barry said, it was like we had a bunch of friends and contemporaries and bands. We were playing all the time and all the holes in the walls that we could find. And now it's sort of we play in Richmond twice a year.
Yeah.
And really don't go out as much as we used to. So people are like, what
Not
are the
allowed
cool
to
new
if
bands?
you're
It's like, I don't know, but I can tell you that, we had a soccer tournament that weekend
Yeah,
and I had to drive to Hampton Roads.
Carry the torch, kids.
I can speak to the fact that there are a lot more really good restaurants in Richmond these days.
Oh,
so
for sure.
That's pretty great.
Well, you've seen that city and a lot of Virginia, really build up in kind of arts and culture and like cool brew pubs and wineries and things like that, right?
Yeah, I think so. And VCU's really built up the college, over the years and is I think transformed a lot of the town, and
Yep.
it brings in more young people and lets them cut their teeth on being artists. So that's the important thing.
Yeah. Well, great. Our friends Carbon Leaf in Studio C. We're going to do another song. What do you want to play next for us here today?
This is the album title track called "Time Is the Playground."
Run through the fields, another holiday. Burning in the lungs, but your mind escapes. One for the ages, straight into the fire. Through the ashes of waiting, you're a pacing desire. Buildings rise and shadows fall. Sundial time clocks on the wall. You can't go back and start again. You just start again from wherever you end. Time is the playground, and the high-rise cityscape fades as the conversations winding down, as the engine vibrates. It threads me like a needle of moves right through and marches on. Make sure I'm warned before I fade. Second hand, swept away. Run through the fields to get your loving on time. Another shadow is falling and it might be mine. A pull from the past as you're breaking away. Fire in the sky like someone's turning a page. Ashes, ashes everywhere. Come along with me, don't stop to stare. We're rolling side by side with youth and eternity left if we ignore the truth now. Time is the playground, and the high-rise cityscape fades as the conversations winding down, as the engine vibrates. It threads me like a needle of, it moves right through and marches on. Make sure I'm warned before I fade. Second hand, swept away. Second hand, swept away. Second hand. Time is the playground. Time is the playground. Time is the playground.
Thank you.
We are live for another Studio C session here on the Summit. I'm Brad Savage. Joining us here for their first visit since 2017, Carbon Leaf here on the Summit FM. So, gentlemen, congrats on Time is the Playground, the new album, the newest studio album. What, your 15th album? Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. So.
And there's a bunch of live records.
Right.
And
It
live
depends
releases.
on how you count albums, but like up to 18 projects, I think we're right now. So.
Wow.
No, it's maybe more like 21 because this was supposed to be the 21st project.
I'm not sure.
I
I think
know.
it's like 15
Too much.
finished studio records if you don't count, because we did we invented the Taylor Swift re-record too.
Oh,
so
that's
we went
right.
back
Original
and did-
gangsters.
That was nice of her to steal that idea from you guys.
Yeah. I mean, we still call it Taylor's version.
Yeah.
But it's Carbon Leaf.
Three good albums. Let's just say three good
Yeah,
albums.
there were 3 good albums. Well, so talk a little bit about this new record and putting that together and everything. We've been playing Backmask 1983 off that record too.
And I appreciate that for sure. This project we were due for a new project, and we launched this whole thing kind of as the pandemic was unfolding, not realizing it was going to completely disrupt our schedules for 2 years plus, and then ripple effect after that. So we got a little bit of a late start after announcing that we were doing this new record, but to get to the writing and recording stage. But it kind of speaks to where we were in that weird zone where it's like all of a sudden your sense of time and priorities changed so much. And,
Sure.
And we were looking through some of our new demos that we were working on, and I was looking at some of the old things that we have laying around the house that I haven't finished writing yet. Had some ideas, but you're just missing the rest of the story.
Sure.
So we started corralling all these kind of disparate things together, and I was just ruminating a lot on kind of our time as a band and kind of where we were in the world and how I don't know if we move through time or time moves through us.
Right.
It's just like we're here for a blip and then we're gone, and then it's someone else's experience. And
Sure.
So I had a lot of that kind of rolling around my head.
This is much heavier than I
Yeah,
thought.
I know.
But I wanted,
Philosophical.
But I wanted an
had
album
no
that
idea.
had those ideas. Every song has something to do with time lyrically, but then I wanted the music to be. I wanted good hooks and catchy stuff, and I wanted the music to be like fun and listenable, and put those two things together. So
Did you actually go to a studio, or do you guys kind of do it home studio type stuff and self-production now?
Yeah, this was all done in my garage. So,
Nice.
Yeah. So we call it a studio.
Yeah.
But it's a garage.
But it's a garage. Yeah.
garage without a car.
People always ask, they're like, do you guys do the soundproofing so your neighbors can't hear? It's like, no, the neighbors definitely
Well, we
hear.
try.
We try. We stop at like 5 or 6 o'clock if we're recording like the big amps and the loud drums. We try to end early, but the garage door doesn't keep any sound in the garage.
Yeah.
And conversely, it doesn't keep any sound out.
Out,
So we
right,
have like you hear at the end of songs when they're fade out.
Birds.
You listen up, you'll hear birds, dogs barking,
Lawnmowers.
the UPS guy driving
Yeah.
by. It's like sometimes it's like, well, we have to redo the end because the trash man came right when we were finishing.
Totally. Well, and when Terry says they stop at 5 or 6 o'clock, he means in the morning.
Yeah.
They're rocking all night with this stuff.
those days are long gone.
So, yeah, that must be a big change, though, from the early days. Like, just the way production and making music has become so much simpler if you have a decent computer and a space to do it, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I was talking to our sound man about that because when we started out, I worked in a recording studio, and the console we used cost $250,000 and was half the size of this stage. And we recorded to a hard disk system that weighed 600 pounds, and again cost $250,000 and could barely record 16 tracks, the size of a refrigerator. This computer. And now it's like then we recorded the Curious George 2 soundtrack on my laptop in my dining room, and it sounded great. We went to Universal Studios and they mixed it, and Barry and I looked at each other like, yeah. we're on the big screen at Universal, and we recorded this in my dining room. This is pretty sweet. So that's when we decided to invest in some decent gear and a real headphone system, and kind of build it out a little bit. So it's really fun, and it's nice because when you get tired, you can go play basketball with the kids in the cul-de-sac. You come back, you kind of refreshed, your ears are fresh, and you get back to work. Or Carter's like, I got to go home because I got to let the chickens out. He runs down to his house and comes back, and it's nice to have the flexibility, not be paying hundreds of dollars an hour, and you're locked into this thing, and it's like, we got to get it done now. We've got a little bit of breathing room, and you have some perspective to look at the music too. You don't have to feel like you have to finish it all that first day. You rest on it, you come back, you're like, oh, okay. Now I see with some clarity that it's a little too fast. We should have slowed it down, or I'm singing the wrong harmony here. Let's tweak it.
You can go back and do it again, and it doesn't cost the production.
Just time.
Just time. Yep. Gotcha. This is great, though. It's kind of like behind the scenes, a day in the life of Carbon Leaf. Yeah. This is way cool. So, well, guys, it's so great having you back here for the Summit and Studio C. Once again, the Kent stage tonight in beautiful Kent, Ohio. And how about another song? What do you got next for us here?
Great. This is Off Time is the Playground. It's called California Gold. 1, 2, 3.
Everything looks the same, but everything else has changed. Everybody knows my name, I'm on my own. There's nothing here I can hold, there's no story I haven't told. I'm heading for the other coast in search of California gold. Sunbeams for a smile, Cali blue skies for miles, San Diego for a while, I'll call you home. And all we have is time, lay it on down the line, find the missing pieces as we go. We're taking the slowest road for now, let the windows paint the scene. We're living the fever dream, California gold, California gold. Time, maybe on down the line, we'll find the missing pieces as we go. We're taking the slowest road for now, just let the windows paint the scene. We'll fall and do anything, California gold, California gold.
We are live in Studio C. It is another Wayside Furniture and Blind & Son Studio C session for Summit members and with Carbon Leaf. And you guys mentioned 30th anniversary, 30 years as a band. Did you think this thing was going to last 30 years?
We definitely did not think this through.
Yeah.
And his bachelor is 33, by the way.
33 even. Yeah. I was kind of thinking, like, you guys have been touring around this area and Ohio staples and doing festivals for a long time. There's some other bands kind of in similar circles, right? Like you've got the Clarks out of Pittsburgh, PA. You got OAR in similar circles and around the same length and duration as a band. Our friends Red Wanting Blue, you guys have played a lot with them. Have you done the Rock Boat too? You guys have done that a couple times.
Yeah,
We
we're
have.
booked for 2026.
That'll be our 11th Rock Boat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Super fun, and it's always fun to hang out with like bands like Red Wanting Blue and Gaelic Storm, and I think the Clarks were on it years ago. We get to hang out, and it's nice because a lot of times we play with these bands, and literally we're passing like ships in the night, or we get to do one show and then we split off. But on the boat, you get to hang out for a week. You play 3 shows, but then you can collaborate. You can go to dinner. You hang out with each other's families.
A floating
and stuff.
music festival.
It's so fun.
That's so cool. Do you guys need a roadie for that boat trip next
Oh,
year?
of course we do.
Yeah. 'Cause I
our
asked
hype-
Red Wanting Blue, it didn't come through. So I'm gonna.
You could be our hype man. Just walk around with a microphone behind us.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. It'll be great.
Carbon leaves in the Lido deck.
But there must be some satisfaction in like putting the band together and having that kind of staying power over, that length of time and kind of building your fan base to just do music how you want to.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
There we go.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. I mean, a band there's a lot of energy in kind of being a band but more importantly, like making it feel like it is an actual band as opposed to just a rotating carousel of musicians,
Sure.
which is good and fine. And it's like if you can make it work, make it work. But, we were always about, being a band, letting people see those personalities and allowing everyone's kind of talents to kind of coalesce. And the longer you go, it's rock and roll's not forever. What I mean?
Right.
It's just like,
Yeah.
So we're thankful that we can keep
Keith
things
Richards
cohesive.
would beg to differ.
He proves the exception to the rule. I think.
He really is. If they're going for longevity, he should be the next pope because
good call.
absolutely.
That'd be
Well,
a heck of
there's
a
a thought.
convocation. Yeah, sure.
well, let's do another one here with Carbon Leaf Studio C. Which one do you guys want to do up next?
This is a song off the new album, and it's called Me and Mick. It's a little slice of life about the trepidation of dipping your toe back into a relationship.
Down in the engine room of her heart, young love, new love, it always feels like a start. It keeps beating, beats being alone, all alone, all alone, all alone, all alone. Carry all of these voices in the back of your head, steady as she goes when the morning comes. Nothing can wreck us but love. Out of the shadows and into the sun, can we make believe this day is the only one? Out of the shadows, straight into the dream, living a sequel we will never see. Steady as she goes when the morning comes, nothing can wreck us but love. Counting up all the moments in still life, She puts them together 1,000 times in her mind's eye, strung together in still frames that glow in the dark. Moving out of the picture and into the part, straight into the part, out of the shadows and into the sun. Can we make believe this day is the only one? Out of the shadows, straight into the dream, living a sequel we will never see. Carry all of these voices in the back of your head, steady as she goes when the morning comes. Nothing can wreck us but love. Shadows and into the sun. Can we make believe this day is the only one? Out of the shadows, straight into the dream, living a sequel we will never see, never see. Out of the shadows and into the sun, nothing can wreck us but love. Out of the shadows and into the sun, nothing can wreck us but love. Out of the shadows and into the sun, nothing can wreck us but love. Out of the shadows and into the sun, nothing can wreck us but love.
Thank you.
Oh, we've got a great audience in the room. It's Studio C live with Carbon Leaf, kind of an acoustic thing. Now, tonight at Kent Stage, it's the full band deal plugged in and everything, right?
Yeah, man,
Sound
the
and
flying
lights.
trapeze, the flaming gungs, we got it all. Cannons.
That's right. A mini episode of Cirque du Soleil will happen during the show. It'll be perfect. Yeah, and it's great. So what's on the agenda then for the rest of the year, leading into summertime, too?
Well, we have summertime is a little slow. We got a lot of family vacations and things like that, and of course, none of them are scheduled at the same time. So it's like
Right.
John goes away and comes back. Carter's gone for Terry, and so we're all kind of like
This
doing
is
that.
very
for the
passively
record-
aggressively complaining
I know,
at
for
all
the
of us
record-
taking vacations.
For the record, my wife and I painfully sit and look at the calendar and be like, well, when's Terry going to be away? I don't want to upset Barry. Let's take our vacation here. For the record.
It's like a game of Battleship.
That's right.
Me and my wife just look at the camera like, now.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now.
It's like whack-a-mole. It's like
It's funny because Barry does plan most of our year, and he is really analog and old school. He's got one of those big desk-sized calendars
Yes,
and,
perfect.
and Post-it notes. So
Yep.
he's just like moves the Post-it notes around.
because it's so amorphous. Trying to like you're gonna like, all right, we got 80 or 100 dates where we're all together, and it's just like you got 5 guys, you got 2 crew, and then everybody's got their thing going on. So it's like you're a switchboard operator. You're like, trying to like figure out.
And he takes a picture of it and then sends it to our booking agent. And he goes, "How about this? What do you think of this?" And they go, "Okay, okay."
I'm like, post it.
That's great though. Do you still like doing like the festivals when it aligns with the calendar, of course? Like, just various.
Yeah, sometimes
outdoor
when they
stuff?
pop up, but
Yeah.
not tons of festivals. So to answer your question, we've got some isolated runs in the spring and a few in the summer, and then we hit the road in the fall.
Yep.
And we're kind of still promoting Time is the Playground, which was
Yep.
released last September. So we'll do another U.S. tour in the fall, and that'll kind of be our busy time where we stack everything.
As a cool, fully independent band, those albums can have an even longer shelf life too, right? Like just the way, I think when you're on a label system, it's like, well, you've got 4-month opening, and then it's on to the next whatever they're also releasing, and you guys can kind of, just keep it going and build up the fan base one by one.
Well, we're treating this as more of a, conversation. It's like, there's doing a 12-song album. You don't see a ton of that going on, and everybody's been pressuring to do singles and things, but this project didn't work out that way. So, we release it, and then we kind of just think of it more as a conversation that we can have and just introduce our fans to each song in some different ways, whether it's live or through a video or something like, or just discussing it on social media. So we'll be doing a lot of that this year, kind of opening that up. And now that people have had it and have listened to it, and hopefully.
That's great. Do you have any super fans that follow you around? Like, what are the fans that have seen the most shows?
There's a handful of super fans for sure, and we were talking about the other day that one of the coolest things about being around for 30 years is now we're seeing the multi-generational fans.
Sure.
So sometimes we'll see 3 generations or even 4 generations of a family like at a show, and you hear like multiple like I grew up on Carbon Leaf, so my kids are growing up on Carbon Leaf.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's
a
so
whole
cool.
family
Or not.
there. I know it's really cool to see that sort of community build within our fan base. So that's one of my favorite things.
That's pretty cool. I saw a British music blog lately, and they were interviewing some hot new UK band, female band, and the singer says, "Oh yeah, I love the Pixies. My grandparents listened to the Pixies." I was like,
I know,
"Oh
that's
my
rough.
gosh. How can that be?" but hey, time
I knew
moves.
him when he was just light gray Francis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's such a great time having Carbon Leaf back here, and do not miss it tonight. Kent Stage, Carbon Leaf is back in Ohio. Hey, and one last thing, talk about the call to return to Ohio time and time again. This is a pretty good area for you guys, right?
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, it happens at least once a year. It seems.
We try, and there was many year where we weren't hitting Ohio, and we got an earful. I think on one of the shows we went to, I can't remember where we were, maybe
Back to the
Columbia
old
or
grog shop or
I
sure.
don't know, somewhere, and then we're just like, all right, we'll put it on the calendar, and we'll hit as many, Kent, Cleveland, Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Columbus.
Good music people in these parts, in the great
For
Buckeye
sure.
State. So, well, how about one more song, gentlemen? Yeah, let's do it. One more with Carbon Leaf. What do you have next?
Okay, great. This is off the Hunting Ground album, which was the previous EP, and this is called Pale Blue Dot.
In the wake of love's great passing from the eagle eyes of youth, feathers blown from sweaty palms, arms outstretched for proof, madmen wait to return upon some distant shore. Something borrowed, something new, something ocean blue they've never seen before. Rage on, my arms are all for you. Rage with your crazy, blazing, brazen youth. Jumping flames, the fever light, the calling of the wild. Now is not the time or place to untangle a knotted child. How fast can I run away from this? How fast will you hold me true? Dig deep down, you're bound to strike the grave of something new. We rage on, my arms are all for you. Rage with your crazy, blazing, brazen youth. And the silent thoughts spin round and round, where they land nobody knows. Somewhere stands this grizzly bear, being swarmed by a gang of crows. Caring is the sharpest stone you could ever choose. When the day is done, it's who we've become that's truly ours to lose. We rage on, my arms are all for you. Rage with your crazy, blazing, brazen youth. We rage on, once upon a time. Fairy tales from a pale blue dot, everything will turn out fine.
Well, what a great Studio C session. A band that means a lot to this radio station, going back a number of years, several albums, and they're always keen to get back to Ohio. Please give it up one more time for Carbon Leaf. Thank you so much, guys. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brad.
And
Thanks, Summit FM.
Thanks, Brad.
This is awesome.
Cheers. Thanks, Summit.
we'll see you tonight at the Kent stage. Awesome. Carbon Leaf, everybody.